There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Welcome to Sci-Fi Talk on the Fangirl Zone, a podcast where we discuss shows on the Sci-Fi Channel. I'm Steve.
And I'm Sean, Fangirl S. And today we'll be discussing episode 4 of hopefully season 1 of Resident Alien. Or I started to say it wrong. I'm just really hoping, because the way this is going, that it's going to be more than one season.
Oh, absolutely.
It is getting, oh my God.
Yeah. They
And this
ramped
one?
it up a bunch in this episode.
Holy crap. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
So yeah, initial thoughts. Oh, holy crap.
Yeah. That's really about it.
Yeah. I mean, what else can you say?
Yeah. Yeah. Just, oh, man. Let's jump into episode 4, Birds of a Feather. Harry travels to the Ute Reservation to help Asta's grandmother and learns what it means to belong. That was the last half of the episode. What about the first half?
Right? Harry does weird things, I guess would be the best.
Oh, yeah, because we get a Cheers opening.
Oh my God, that was actually really funny. And I'm like, wait, is he finally fitting in?
Right. And where did this alien wife and baby come from?
Okay, yeah, well, until we got to that point, I was like, wait a second. Like, I'm thinking, oh, okay. We're actually seeing him, like, fit in and things are...
high five, throwing the football around, almost like Norm going into Cheers when he goes into the 59. Like, holy crap.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, somehow, we're going to do a little bit of a time jump, and he's become not normal, but not quite as abnormal.
Right.
I mean, can he ever really be normal?
Nope, don't think so.
And then it got weird.
Yeah.
Because like you said, all of a sudden there's a wife and child. I'm like, wait, what?
Yes.
I love that they had to put a bow so we know, oh that's the female alien. Okay.
Right. And a postman comes up to deliver a package. Harry opens it and all human life disintegrates.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Now, see, total extinction event.
Yep.
It was total human extinction.
Yes.
Because when you seen the dog,
Yeah.
I was about to get pissed.
Yes. But the dog remains standing.
Yes.
You go, thank goodness for that.
Yes. Yeah. Because, if you've ever listened to any of our other podcasts where an animal dies, I was like raging.
Yes.
So I'm glad the dog survived. I'm like that with movies too. Sorry, people. I Am Legend. I was not a happy camper.
Right. And then we see that Harry realizes he now dreams.
Oh my God.
Boy.
That was funny. He's like, well, apparently I dream now.
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, where's that going to lead?
Right. So he heads out in his bathrobe to complain to the sheriff that they woke him up again.
Yeah, maybe he needs to be like, you need to move down the way, something.
Right. But they have moved to the shoreline to gather any more evidence that they can come up with. And because the sheriff has to mention that he feels they're close in his balls, and Harry makes the joke about balls being nuts. Liv laughs, Harry laughs, but Sheriff not so much.
Okay, so I have to apologize because I had thought this was last episode because I watched these episodes together.
Right.
Because I was so late with last episode and I screwed up. So I'm sorry if I killed the joke for anybody. It's still funny and stupid.
Absolutely.
It's like a 5-year-old joke.
Yes, it actually is. So a little later on, Harry is at the diner wondering about humans and their need to gather while eating.
Yeah, this is weird too because I can see that.
Yep.
But I mean, he's usually sitting there, I guess, unless he's in the office. But I feel like somebody's going to come and eat with him in the office too.
Oh, absolutely. So Mayor Snowflake Flake or Ben walks in the diner, joins Harry, and informs him that the search for a replacement doctor is progressing and that he should come over to dinner, and won't take no for an answer.
Oh my God.
He gets it.
And he's like, la, 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 I can't hear you. It's like, what is wrong with you?
Yeah. No wonder Max has got problems.
Right?
I think he's more of an adult than Ben is. Of course, we go to the other side of the diner where Asta tells Darcy that the pills from the party were written on the missing script pad. And of course, Darcy thinks it has to be Jay because she's 17. It makes sense, but they argue over who did the dumbest things in high school, including stealing a tractor, holding a fish for ransom, sealing fan Olympics, and drunk ice diving.
I really had a moment. I'm like, what do some of these mean?
Right, yes. Yeah, Darcy gets a speeding ticket on a stolen tractor.
Yeah.
Asta holds a fish for ransom. Now, yeah, the ceiling fan Olympics and drunk ice diving, yes, that had me a little curious too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it just made me wonder what the heck it all meant.
Yes, stuff you do when you're drunk and young. That's it.
I think a lot of people have been there. So.
Oh, yeah. So Harry comes up to him and informs him that the mayor is inviting him to dinner and wants Asta to go with him, but she has other plans as she needs to help her father make a birthday cake for her niece. A kick under the table gets Astra to suggest Darcy, who isn't free except from 5 p.m. to midnight. Go, really?
Yeah, okay, that's a nice span.
Yes. Oh, that just fits right into my window. And then Harry says, well, I'm not going to pay you as that would make you a prostitute.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
I'm free. It's like, well, I'm not going to pay you. And he's just so deadpan. I love it. She's like, I'm so into him. Oh my God, Darcy, come on.
Yes. So we go check in at the clinic as Astra talks with Jay, who apologizes for the party. And Asta tells her that everyone does dumb stuff. Stealing beer for a boy in high school from a gas station that she worked at. Yeah, that's pretty stupid.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, she just wasn't exactly subtle with the way things progressed here.
No, because then she brings up the pills being passed around and that they were written off the missing pad. And of course, that immediately flags Jay, and she thinks Asta is accusing her as Harry walks in on this developing argument and also believes Jay took the pad because statistics.
And then he takes Jay's burrito.
Yeah.
I love that he just puts it in his pocket.
Yeah, in his lab coat.
It's like, can you maybe at least wrap it? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it would have been funnier if we put it in upside down so the stuff started sliding out.
Yep.
But that's gross because that would be disgusting. I'm sorry. Like random thought.
Yes. And we're going to check in on Sheriff Mike and Deputy Liv, who seem to be having some issues.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, as they're going through what they fished out of the lake, but he doesn't think that the doorknob is important, even though Liv thinks it's unusual.
But he thinks a freaking old ice skate is important.
Right.
And what else? I'm like trying to remember what else you can see, like an old lantern.
Right.
I can't even remember everything.
Yeah,
like,
it was a bunch of junk is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
And of course...
Except, that boat, or that door handle was really new.
Yes,
so,
it wasn't a really old handle.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, Mike's reasoning is, houseboats have doors.
Mm-hmm.
And you go,
and they sink. Okay, have you heard of one sinking?
Yes, exactly.
Then shut it.
And so he tosses the knob back into the bucket that Liv got it out of. And then we get a moment between Liv and Darcy as Liv is just one of those days where you question your existence. And so they have a nice little sit down, and Darcy finds out that Liv was sitting in the same stool while she was competing in the Olympics, and the whole town was there cheering her on. And we kind of get who's going to have the saddest story here, because, of course, Darcy's sorry that she only brought home a busted up leg, yet Liv tells her she put Patience on the map, and she's never done anything so important. And apparently this type of conversation has gone on on between these two before, as Darcy asks if this is a Mike spiral. And yeah, I think you could say it is, because he always makes her feel so dumb.
And I really think this was necessary because Darcy seems kind of down, where I'm sure she's thinking, well, I peaked and then,
Right.
I was going to the Olympics and everything went sideways.
Yes.
And then Darcy, after hearing that and seeing what Liv is going through, what you're about to talk about is how she's able to lift Darcy up. And I'm sorry, this is what women should be doing for each other, lifting up and not just tearing everybody down. But,
exactly.
Whole nother story.
Yes.
But go ahead.
Well, Darcy tells her that she's the best cop the town has ever had and the only one that the people are happy to see. And she tells her she needs to stand up to Mike because she deserves better.
She does.
Yes, she does. And later on, Liv tries again with the doorknob, but Mike just walks away. So she tags it anyway, as important.
Yeah, I'm glad she did that because that's going to make a difference later, I'm sure, which
yes, it will.
I'm worried about Harry.
Yeah, it will come back into play, I'm sure. So we check in on the mayor's family, and guess who's coming to dinner as Max comes home and sees milk and cookies on the table and thinks it must be really bad. He thinks his parents are getting a divorce, but it ends up being much worse. Harry is coming to dinner.
Oh my God. I thought that was funny because he's like, that's fine. I will live with you Monday through Friday. And then, every other weekend, but Thanksgiving with Mom. And I'm like, wow, he's been thinking about this for a while. Yeah. Apparently, this is a thing.
Yeah.
It's like, dang. And then when he was so mad, he's like, why can't you just be getting a divorce?
Yes, as he stomps off to his room and starts packing. And he calls Shahal over the walkie and informs her that Harry is coming for dinner. Well, Shahal thinks this is great because it gives them an opportunity to get into his cabin. Okay. Well, what are we going to do? Well, here's the plan. Max is to give Harry a hug and check his pockets for keys. Well, of course, there weren't any, and I love them using the walkies to communicate back and forth while he's in the house and she's outside.
Yeah, I thought that was cute.
And finally, Max figures that they've got to be in the truck. So Sahal finds them and heads to a convenience store to make copies. And unfortunately, when she arrives there is a long line of adults, including Sheriff Mike and Deputy Liv.
Yeah, and apparently keys are really cheap to make because this kid made like
the whole
all
set.
The keys.
Yes, the whole set of keys. And we get a bit of Mike with a 65 Ford Mustang Hot Wheel, and Liv and Sahal puts an end to it by grabbing a box of tampons.
Oh my God, that was so funny because, hello, I'm sorry, but that is a great way to shut anybody down from talking to you.
Yes.
Especially as a kid. Like, don't talk to me. I'm buying tampons and I'm embarrassed. And it's like, oh. And yeah, another woman would be like, okay, I understand.
Yes.
You know what
that's
saying?
What Liv did.
And most guys would just not even make eye contact. I'm sorry. Even adults, like, you wouldn't talk about that.
Away. Yeah, not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Well, because it's taking Shahal longer than planned, Max has to stall Harry from leaving. He first shows off his solar system, which Harry is actually impressed with, that it's actually correct, except for a moon is actually a way station.
Which I thought that was funny, but yeah. I'm like, wow. Yeah, Harry being impressed with it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right. And then we get to hear a book report on The Giver.
And oh my God, Darcy this whole time's like, I'm going to need more wine. Okay, Darcy, I think
she passes
you might
out
need an intervention, honey.
Kate's shoulder and even grabs Harry's leg as they're leaving. But all that stalling gave Sahal time to get the keys back in the truck. And the very next day, we see Max and Sahal riding their bikes to Harry's place as the sheriff pulls them over.
See, again, the sheriff is so weird.
Yes.
You didn't use your hand signal back there.
Right. What? And then his reasoning for letting them go is even worse. Just, well, you're outside and you aren't at home with their faces glued to a screen, so just don't get in trouble. Like, what? So they get to Harry's cabin and go inside and start looking around. Max offers her a tin hat, but Sahil reveals she already has one on.
I thought that was funny.
Yes,
she's
it was.
It's like way ahead of you.
And Max opens the fridge, revealing only bottles of milk.
What does this guy eat?
Yes.
But yeah, it's like, well, do you really want to know, kid? I'm just saying,
I don't
like,
think so. So, of course, they go down into the basement and they see Harry's map and pieces of the spaceship. And of course,
I'm thinking he can totally just be like, yeah, I'm into,
explain,
fill in the blank,
yeah,
unexplained mysteries or some shit. Yeah.
And they aren't able to get into the freezer. I just think they didn't check all the keys. But Max sees the levitating apple. So, of course, they go over there and Sahal reaches for it, which causes a reaction, blowing them onto the other side of the room, knocking them both out.
I'm assuming it was because of the tinfoil hat.
Probably.
Yeah, and oh my gosh, they really flew, didn't they?
Yes, they did. That was some mighty reaction there. So let's go find out what happened at dinner. Oh, man. Kate and Ben are surprised that Harry brought a date. Yeah, I can see why that would be a bit surprising. And Darcy tells him that he's really into her as she gives him a hug and they sit down for dinner. Ben asks where Harry's from.
Oh, my God. And this was this like awkward, but I love that Kate and Ben are like, okay, he's kind of weird. Let's just roll with this.
Yeah, he's from New York City and she wants to know what it's like. And he gives him the Law and Order spiel.
Yeah.
Apparently, Ben and Kate aren't Law and Order fans.
Yeah.
And of course, because Darcy and Ben have been raised in patience, they start talking about their time in grade school together. And Darcy has already had a couple of glasses of wine, so she admits that Ben was her first kiss, which Kate knew nothing about.
Okay, first of all, when they start talking and she's like, yeah, it was 5th grade, blah, blah, blah. Are you really like, okay, I'm going to tell you everybody I've ever dated. Back in 5th grade, I dated, and that would have to be in like quotes.
Oh, yeah.
Are you dating in 5th grade?
Exactly.
I mean, come on. And this is like a small town. So yeah, they're probably going to remember more stuff. So why would you be mad about the 5th grade thing? Now what comes later?
Yes.
Okay. But that's the 5th grade thing.
Right. Yeah. That shouldn't have set Kate off that much.
Right.
But
apparently
it did, because later Ben thinks the dinner went well and Harry and Max seem to be getting along, but Kate still has issues about Ben not telling her about Darcy. I'm sorry. You get married, you don't tell your partner every single secret in your past.
I can't even say the secret, but like,
yeah, or every person you ever dated.
Yeah, we haven't gone over that. No. I'm sorry. Like, we've been together 20 plus years. Yeah. I've not been like, okay, here's everybody that I've ever dated and crushed on and this and that. Then again, I don't see those people every day.
Right.
So maybe it's different. I don't know. Throw out me like, yeah, we dated like forever ago.
Yeah.
But when it turns out that it was in 10th grade as well, because they're like, oh yeah, we thought about this house being ours, da da da.
Yeah.
And I guess I can see like, oh wait, what? But at the same time, yeah, like we said, I haven't gone over everybody I've ever dated. He never told me everybody he's ever dated. I don't think I want to know.
No, not at all. And of course, she has to add in that she taught him everything he knows. So yeah, they've had sex too. So of course, Kate's just not a happy camper. And we get a brief moment with Harry and Max, where Harry wants to know why Max is being so nice, because he's tried to kill him at least 3 times. And Max just comes back and says, well, if I was an alien, I'd probably do the same thing.
Yeah, I tried to kill you 2, 3, wait. And they just count them out. It's like, oh my gosh.
And after all this is over, Harry pulls up to Darcy's place. And of course, she asks if he's going to kiss her. And Harry thinks to himself, myself. I can do this. And it is not pretty.
Oh my God. I've seen this on TV.
Yes.
I don't know what you've been watching. And again, I'm so glad he wasn't watching porn.
Yes.
Although maybe he would have realized the next part that happened. But
Yeah.
yeah, when he leans in and he just like is licking her face, and I'm watching this, and when she actually says that, that's not the worst kiss I've ever had. It's like, oh my God, what kind of people have you been around?
Right, yes. And after she gets out of the truck,
oh my God, are you?
Yeah, Harry has a reaction and thinks his penis is dying because it's
has rigor mortis. Okay, so I said to Steve off air that I really thought Harry was gonna get out and be like, Darcy, something's happened. I don't know if it's better that it didn't happen or if it would have been funnier if it had. I don't know.
Right.
It would have been weird, I guess, either way. But I'm thinking something is going to happen because we've seen it in like previews.
Right.
But after the end of this episode, I'm really confused.
Yes.
So I don't know what's going to happen. We'll just leave it at that. I don't know.
Right.
But that was, oh my God, I couldn't stop laughing. I was literally laughing out loud with that one.
Oh, absolutely. Now we find out that Asta's grandmother is down on her back again as Asta's dad comes in the clinic to inform her that they need to get her a steroid shot like Dr. Sam gave her. And of course, Harry walks in at this time and Asta says, well, he's the doctor on call, so he can administer the shot. But both Asta's dad and Harry don't want this to happen, but Astra doesn't want them acting like children, so she puts them in their place. And Harry is enjoying the ride to Grandma's house because nobody's talking, but then realizes he needs to go pee.
Yeah, just randomly, I need to pee.
Yes, out of nowhere. So they pull into a gas station right next to an RV that just happens to have our killer couple still arguing over killing the cowboy.
But we find out, well, you know what? I am still not 100%. I think we find out they're not aliens.
Right. I am in complete belief that, no, they're working for the government, military.
That's what I thought. But then, like, when you think
aliens.
about it, because it was kind of vague, it's like, we need to bring the alien to the general.
Right.
And I'm like, well, I guess it could still be kind of vague, but I really think they are people.
Yes. Yeah. He tells her that their orders are to find the alien that crashed.
Mm-hmm.
And she comes back with, no, they're to deliver an alien to the general without anyone knowing about it, which definitely means, yeah, if you have to kill people, so be it. So the guy stomps out of the RV and joins Harry in the restroom, where Harry asks him if he shivers when he pees.
Okay, now, obviously, things are different in the men's room, but I'm guessing you don't generally chat when you're at a urinal.
No. You keep head looking straight, get your business done, and get the hell out of there. You don't mention any bodily functions to a complete stranger.
And the guy answers him.
Yeah, sometimes. And Harry has another shiver and he goes, ugh. The guy kind of looks at him as he leaves. But the light bulb doesn't seem to go completely off over his head. So maybe Harry's safe for another episode.
We'll see.
Yeah. Now, before making it to the reservation, Harry, of course, looks up how to give the injection. So he's prepared.
At least you don't have the weird pictures like some of the other stuff.
Yes. And when they arrive, he's welcomed by the family, even though he tells Astra's sister that he was forced to come along. He looks at him like, what? And he realizes that it's not the eating that brings human together, but the feeling of belonging, and it feels good. He gives Grandma the shot, and she tells him that she knows he will do good things. I don't know how, Grandma.
Yeah, and I love it when Harry's like, okay, in about 15 minutes, you'll be able to get up and beat your son. It's fine.
Yeah.
Or whip him. I can't remember exactly what he said, but I was like, what? That was funny.
And as Asta takes her niece, Grandma mentions it's about time that she had one of her own. Well, wrong thing to say, Grandma, because Harry informs them that she has a 17-year-old named Jay.
Yeah, and this is where things get get awkward because Harry has no filter.
Nope. Everyone is shocked. And of course, Harry has to keep going and tells them that their bone structures are the same and they both eat like they're starving.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, Asta grabs her coat and runs out the door. Asta's sister finds her, complaining that, yeah, she knew exactly where she would go, but it's a pain in the ass to get to. And
yeah,
of course,
I like the little fort, though.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. Asta tells her asks her how bad did she screw up, and her sister tells her it's pretty bad to have stalked her and got her working for her without her knowing who she is. Yeah, I think, you're going to have more problems with Jay when she finds out than you will with your family.
Mm-hmm.
She's kept a really big secret, and it's going to hurt a lot of people when it comes out. But she also tells Astra that she made a really difficult decision at a really young age, and that's what she admires her for. So we go back to the family as Harry is watching the kids play basketball when the ball gets blocked and rolled to him. So he picks it up and just tosses it into the basket, which of course impresses the group. But of course, Harry's never played basketball.
Or apparently ever watched it.
No.
Because it's like, okay, you got lucky once when he's like, whoop, whoop.
Yeah, because it's a train wreck. Because the first time we see him dribble is like bouncing an inch off the ground, and then he's just running with it in his arms. And finally, one guy takes the ball from him, calling him a ball hog. We see Astra returning, and her father asks how she could not tell him that Jay was her daughter. And they have
my gosh, this was sad.
Yes, it was. A little argument over her giving the baby up. She knows she wasn't in any place to be able to raise a baby, but of course he's thought that the family would have helped her out, and so asked to ask if they're going to be okay, and he tells her even when they're not okay, they're okay, and they hug.
And I know she had said that he wasn't her real dad,
right?
But it's like it's still one of those things that doesn't quite click.
Yeah.
So that was like really sad when they talked about it, though. It's like,
yes.
Oh.
Yeah. And later on that evening, Harry once again is out there playing ball and he manages to steal it and shoot it. But of course, he's just scored for the other team.
I don't understand that either, but okay.
Right. Well, yeah, when you don't have a full court play on, if you'd have stole it, you'd have went the other way. And so that's probably what they expected Harry to do, was to go back out to about where the grass was and start a new play.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't, so of course he scored for the other team. But by this time, Harry is just worn out, quits the game, wandering off thinking, is this how it ends?
Oh my God, it's funny. It's like, I can't keep up with them.
Right. And he lays down on the ground and sees a spider web above him as he's staring up at the stars. He knows his son hasn't changed and feels that it could pull him up into the sky on a string. Of course, Asta walks up and teases him about not being able to hang with the boys. And she lays down next to him and tells him that her father told her that the Big Dipper was 7 brothers shot into the sky. And you kind of go, where's this going?
Yeah, I know. I thought we were going to get like some
story,
different lore. Yeah.
But no, he apologizes to her for telling her secret, and she admits that it did them all a favor. Well, I guess getting a secret out is something you could consider doing them a favor. At least Astra doesn't have to hide it anymore.
That's true. Although when he's like, am I supposed to apologize? And
yes.
She's like, it would help. It's like, oh, okay. Well, you know what? He was trying.
Yes, he was.
He's trying to understand things.
Yep.
So,
and then we find he gives Astra some secrets of his own. He tells her he's missing home, and she asks about his family, and he tells her he had a wife, but she died, so he took a job that brought him here. And you go, that really sounds like he's telling her the truth.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay.
So on the way home, Harry thinks everyone needs to belong to something bigger than themselves. Yes, there are strength in numbers, but maybe it's simpler. Maybe humans just feel better when they know they're not alone on this earth.
And I felt like his interaction with Asta's family
Right.
made him think like a lot differently about everything.
Oh, absolutely it did.
Like, oh, maybe I shouldn't kill everybody on this planet.
Yep. And then we see Asta turn on the radio and her and her father jam out to them pushy natives.
Oh my gosh. I will tell you, if you have not watched this, The Bougie Natives, I looked it up.
Okay.
Hold on. And I watched the video and I was cracking up. Hold on. I got to find it because it was, who was it exactly? Bougie Natives is the name of the song by the Snotty Nose Rez Kid. And they have a whole bunch of songs. It's hilarious. Like it was a good beat too. Like I was
Right.
dancing to it like they were. But I definitely recommend looking it up. Watch it on YouTube if you can.
Right.
Because it was funny. Just like watching the whole thing. I'm like, oh my God. But just seeing Asta and her dad like actually start dancing to it. And,
Yeah. And then Harry does at the end.
Uh-huh.
Kind of beat to it. Well, Harry arrives home and finds the kids' bikes in the kitchen.
I was trying to figure out why the heck they brought their bikes inside.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't figure that one out either.
But then when he finds the kids in the basement and he's like, oh, no. I'm like, oh my God, what? And then he's like, they're still alive. I'm
yes. And so he puts them in some duffel bags.
Those are big bags.
Yes, they are. And he makes his way back up to the house and is surprised to see a woman inside. He asks her how she got in, and she tells him that she has keys, and he's still his wife.
Yeah, and I was like, what? And he drops the bags. I kind of wanted to hear the kids go,
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, they needed to.
But I was like, what the heck is happening?
Right. So human Harry is married. Why haven't we heard or seen this before?
Well, that's why I'm starting to wonder, is it going to be, okay, I'm your wife, but they were in the process of divorce or something?
Right.
If it's going to be something like that, like whatever, here, I was bringing the rest of your stuff. If it's going to be something like that, but this is going to be awkward because he literally just told Asta, my wife is dead.
Right.
And it's like, okay, is it going to be a way to backtrack that?
Yeah.
You know, like my wife is dead to me.
Right.
Our marriage is dead. You know, it's just something
This is going to get real
weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very quickly, but damn.
Yeah. This should be interesting. So
Yes.
I liked this one. It had a lot of comedy. I don't know how they're going to explain the kids. At that point, I think you just call the sheriff, and maybe the sheriff is going to be so like, oh, you're going to break into people's houses and steal their keys and this and that. And
Right.
yeah, the kids are going to be like, but he has all this stuff in the basement. And he'll be like, yeah, because I'm like a crazy alien person who, or maybe that's where his wife will
An
come into play.
alien hunter, yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh my God, he couldn't get enough of that stupid show. And yeah, you know, maybe it'll be something like that.
Right.
But the kid thing is weird. The wife thing is weird. I figured the rigor mortis, he would have run across that before now.
Yeah.
Guess we'll find out.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So this was a good one. So, you know what we think. We want to know what you think. So shoot us an email at contactus@fangirlzone.com, or you can go to www.fangirlzone.com to our contacts page and see all the ways you can contact us. Don't forget, when you're tweeting with us or just watching the show, tweet along and tag the show Resident Alien. I think it's at Resident Alien on Sci-Fi.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much how they gauge interest. And yeah, it's great getting numbers from the big boys, but they don't always read all the shows. And then plus, we're all watching it different ways.
Right.
So I think they're really changing. So make sure you tag the show.
Yep.
While you're at it, if you can rate and review us on iTunes and every other platform you find us on, because good ratings and reviews help other fans of the show find us. Tell your friends about the show. It's so funny. Come on. And if you're laughing, you know they're probably going to laugh too.
Yeah.
Unless you have somebody who's like super bougie. I don't know. And of course, we hope you're enjoying the podcast. So for this episode of Sci-Fi Talk, I'm Sean Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve. You shouldn't trust your balls. They're nuts.
And until next time.